2, 1. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this extremely important, special, inspirational, game-changing My365 goal-setting masterclass. Welcome one, welcome all. Tell us where you are. To give me one word to describe how you feel right now, and also tell us where you are in the world right now. Thank you for joining me. Please make sure you have a pen and paper to hand, because this is going to be an extremely thought-provoking, an extremely powerful. This could be anything up to an hour. So you guys better make sure that you're ready, because we're going on a journey to really help you manifest anything in your life that you want to create in 2018. But we're going to go through a specific process. My goal in working with you is to really help you set some goals that you're fired up about, that you believe that you can achieve, and then set you on your way to help guide, support, and coach you to start getting some momentum. So whether you're a My365 Elite member, whether you are someone who's watched some of my daily videos, I'm excited to tell you this Friday, I'll be doing a live broadcast at 7 a.m. And then next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, what a day, happy days. All of next week, they'll be doing free live broadcasts at 7 a.m. to help you get momentum. So just tell us how you feel right now. Give me one word to describe how you feel, and also just tell us where you are in the world. So we've got Cheshire in the house. We've got Ann Jones. We have, tell us where you are in the world. What an amazing lady Ann Jones is. I met her because she won a villa on GMTV, and then we became great friends ever since that time. And the Jones family are amazing. Yeah, just let us know where you are in the world. Here comes Hannah. She's going to come in and help me out here, because I've got a feeling we're going to be doing some really great work. So make sure pen and paper to hand. We've got Stratford in the house. We've got Tolworth in the house. We've got Glastonbury in the house. Diane Mary Wild is here. We've got Kate Caruth and Bury St Edmunds. We have Joanne Gibbons in Watford. Thank you very much for those flowers you sent us. Amazing. We've got Shaz in Northampton. We've got Val in Devon. We've got Samantha in Surrey. Look at all these people piling in. We've got Cheryl Hughes in Manchester. We have Tracy in Wiltshire. We have Mim in Bristol. We've got March. We've got Mark from London. We've got James in Scotland. We've got Arietta in West Norwood in London. Yes, that's my. Do I want a journal? No, I've got a journal here, so we'll be talking about that. So, guys, Abigail Newman is in the house, one of our members of the month for last year. So, thank you, Abigail, for the flowers you sent us. It's really, really sweet. Tina Patel is in the house. We've got so many places all over the country joining us right now. I'm fired up. Who's fired up? Are you fired up? We're all fired up, and Hannah's got some chocolates over there. Pass me those chocolates. We've got someone who bought us these chocolates, right? And we are showing willpower, because we still have not opened the chocolates. We have willpower, and that is definitely one thing that you guys are going to need this year to help you. So look, there's nothing I'm trying to sell you here apart from myself. I just want you to be engaged. Why have I got a sword in my hand? I'll tell you. So we're going to start this. We're going to kick off. We're going to go through a process, and I'm going to ask all of you to make some notes. Let's see if we can do this in real time, because what would be amazing is if we come back and I give you my word that on the 3rd of January 2019, I will show up here again for you as we review what it is that we have all gone about achieving. Wouldn't that be cool? So that's the first thing I need to write down, is my commitment to all of you on the 3rd of January 2019, that I will show up here, and just imagine what it would be like if the things that we decide that we want to do and the things that we want to achieve, we have gone about achieving them. So we're going to get stuck in, but the first thing I want to ask is a very simple question. What are some of the things in this year that you would like to achieve? So I'm asking you to do two things. Write it here first of all. Just, anything that comes to mind that you want to achieve, but do it quickly. It's like, imagine someone says you can go into a supermarket and you can take anything you want, but you've only got 10 seconds. So run in there. What are you going to take out? What's the first thing that comes to mind for you in terms of what you want to achieve in 2018? What is wildly important to you? So, and by the way, please, you can share this. Let's see if we can get 70 people. Let's push the boat out. 75 people sharing this broadcast tonight. I dare all of you to share it. You never know. Someone might find this because you shared it. So look at all these people here that are saying things like good health, write your first book, finish your first book, become greater, a successful business, online coaching. Lisa, I will come back to you. I saw you sent me a message. Elizabeth, flexible knees. Thank you for sharing this, guys. Really appreciating it. So look at all these things that people say they want to achieve. Stepping out of my comfort zone regularly. Yes, Lindsay Seals, it's your time to shine, isn't it, Hannah? Yes, she's nodding her head. All these things that you guys want to share. Thank you, and thank you for you, sharing this. We really do appreciate it. So let me see if I can keep your attention for the whole process, because this is a process that I want to take you all through. So look at all of these things. Thank you, Neil. Good health, size 14, weight loss, more assertive, health and fitness. Next week, actually, or in 2 weeks, we're going to do some stuff for free on weight loss to inspire some of you that really want to lose a few pounds, or maybe more than a few pounds. So if you've written it down, what you want, what's wildly important, if you've typed it, make sure you write it down. It would be really good if you had a pen and paper to hand as we start this process. So I can see we're at 99 people. Will we reach 100? 100? 100? Do I hear 100? 100? Do I hear 100? So the first thing is, with whatever it is that you want, I know some of you now have just started to join us, with anything in your life that you want to achieve, imagine if you went into a bookmaker's and you said, I want to get some odds, please. I want to get some odds on me achieving this. So what the bookmaker will do, he won't just give you odds like that. He's going to look at your form. He's going to look at your history. And he might look at your history and go, absolutely, this is dead, sir. I'll give you even money on you achieving what it is that you want to achieve. Would he do that? Or would he say, you got no chance? Look at your form. How many times have you wanted to do this before in the past? You might say, I want to lose weight, but do you want to lose weight and keep it off? Because you might have lost, you say, I want to lose weight, and they give you odds on that, but the chances of it coming back on, I really want you, all of you, to start thinking about what is the likelihood of you achieving what it is that you want to achieve if we don't do things differently. Okay? So this is the first part of a process that I'm going to take you on, which is just acknowledging that chances are you are going to have to do things differently to how you've ever done them before. Does this make sense to you? So yes, Pete, it makes sense. Whether you do that or not is a different story. And as we go through this process, I think a lot of things are going to come to light. So that's the first thing. The first thing is that you writing down what you want to achieve, and we can look at this in a bit more detail. But secondly, the waking up and realizing, hang on, yeah, I do have to do this differently. Even though your brain often wants you to do what you've done in the past, even though there's another part of your brain that's going to go, look, there's no point doing this because you ain't going to get what you want. So what we need is, we need more than just a resolution. I spoke about this on a broadcast this week. I'll just mention it very quickly. A resolution, if you look at what the word resolution means, it means choosing to do one thing against another. Okay, so it's like, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to stuff my face. I'm not going to procrastinate anymore. I'm going to start going to the gym. I'm going to stop sitting on the sofa. I'm going to get up early. So getting up early, in opposition to getting up early, is staying in late. In going to the gym is not going to the gym. deciding to do something and then talking yourself out of it. It's like going on a resolution. It doesn't really work because you're always fighting against yourself. It's always like this balancing act. And for so many of us, we just get comfortable. And when we get comfortable, what happens? We go back to what is familiar to us. So what is needed is a revolution, okay? This is what is needed. We need a revolution. We need a revolution where you decide. The difference between a revolution and a resolution is, if you look at what the word revolution means, it means a revolution in thinking, an overthrowing of something, throwing something out that doesn't work, moving on from what it is that you did before to the point. And I talked about this story the other day. Someone who's Sarah, someone who Hannah and I both know, is a lady called Seika Nikolic. Amazing lady, a health practitioner, and she used to smoke like literally 40, 50 cigarettes a day. And one day she told me, I'm going to stop smoking. And in my head, I went, yeah, Seika, ever since I've known you, you're always puffing away. Any moment you'd be outside having a cigarette. But she was so brilliant at what she did. No one, I don't think many people went, why are you smoking? But she stopped. And then when I saw her and I spoke to her, I said, how are you getting on with the stopping of smoking? And she looked at me like I was mad, because she had decided that she would never smoke, and also told herself, this might sound really far-fetched for some of you, that she never smoked. She convinced herself, I am not a smoker. I am a healthy person. So that to me is a revolution in the way that people think. And that's what we need. And tonight, maybe you will decide what your revolution looks like, but please write it down. We all know that resolutions don't work. 92% of people apparently who set New Year's resolutions, fail. But the 8%, what are they doing? When we decide to have a revolution, I believe your success rate is going to be much, 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 much higher. So let me put my sword down here, and we can really start to get stuck in. So what I want you to start doing right now is to acknowledge that we have an opportunity to do something awesome. But what we want to do is we want to look back. It's really important. Those of you who I coach every day, you know that when I'm asking you, what have you learned? What have you achieved? And what you're going to do with it? This is so important because it's called reflection. It's called evaluating. And what we want to do is evaluate a few things that happened last year and then put those things in the bin and move on. Does this make sense? If we don't go through this process, your danger, my danger, is we bring in to 2018 the things from 2017 that didn't work. So history does have a pattern of repeating itself. We all know that. History has a pattern of repeating itself until what? A revolution comes along, a new way of thinking. So here we go. These are questions I really like you to ask yourself. So this is it. What did you fail at last year? And what's really important with these questions is don't take them personally. It's just information. Last year, what did you fail at? What did you say that you would do and not do? Okay. What did you fail at? What did you say that you would do and not do? What promises did you not keep? So you can write this down. You can type your answers in here, but it's probably better that you write them down. Hannah, if you see anything that seems really interesting, just let me know. What did you start but not finish? Yeah. What didn't work? It's really, really important to think about this. So, what last year did you fail at? I definitely failed with a few things I started and I didn't finish. I started a couple of books I thought I'll read that. And then I got sidetracked to another book because someone said that book was better than the other book. And I definitely did that a few times. I definitely said yes to a few things and I ended up not doing them, or had to tell people I couldn't do what I said I was going to do. What promises did I not keep? I think I made a few promises to my wife that I didn't keep them. What did I start and not finish? Not too many things, maybe a couple of books. What about you? What didn't work last year? What clearly didn't work? And it's so important that we get this information out. And, it's this process of working on yourself. There is a sacrifice. If you want to get a six-pack, right, there is a six-pack tax. There is a tax, right? You've got to pay something. You don't just get a washboard stomach if you're not prepared to start working on your abs. If you want to achieve your goals, there's a tax to that. But what we want to do is make this process as foolproof as possible. So what did you fail at last year? What did you say you would do and not do? What promises did you not keep? What did you start but not finish? What didn't work? I get the impression that a lot of you are writing this down, which is great. Failed at finding time to grow and change. Okay, thank you for that, Tracy. That's really important. I'm not sure if you're getting the same comments in the same time that I'm getting them. Weight loss didn't work. I let myself down repeatedly. I'm not sure what that just said there. Excuse me. So can you just see that it's really important just to get this information out? And then when you look at it, when you look at this information, I failed to ask for help in good time. So with all of these things, what can you learn from this? And by the way, this might be a journey that you go on a few times. You know, this video, it's going to be out there for as long as Facebook is out there. You might want to go through this a few times and go through some of these questions because they're really, really, really important. So what I want you to think about is, what can you learn from this? And this process of just even answering that question, what can you learn from this? Well, for me, what can I learn from what I did is that I didn't allocate a certain amount of time to things. I left myself open. I said yes to far too many things last year. What can I learn from this? And you see, once you've learned something from what has happened, you literally can then take that bit of paper, if you like, and almost throw it in the bin. Once you think, okay, that's happened, what can I learn from this? What can I learn? I was speaking to a rock climber today. By the way, we just launched My365 in schools today, which is unbelievable. My365 is all about inspiring people to create an unbelievable life. We are here to help you realize that your future is not written, and you've got the power to change, and part of that power is going through this process. And it's never been a more important time to teach this to kids. So thank you to Verity White, Kate Caruth, Julia Stubbs, myself, and the My365 team that really helped this come about, because we are seriously committed to helping all of you achieve the life that you want. But it doesn't happen by chance. It happens by design. And this is part of the design process, to be able to stop, look back and go, okay, what can I learn from what happened? Did I not make this a priority? What is it that I need to do differently? This is just information. This is empowerment, my friends. So everyone happy with that? Again, you might want to go back to this. It's really up to you. But I encourage you to think, what can I learn from what didn't work, what I set out to achieve, okay? So let's move on. Everyone happy for us to move on? Now, this is where the fun starts for a little bit of this process. When you look back, what was awesome about last year? What are some of the achievements that were just brilliant? Now, some of you might struggle to do this because it's not that awesome things didn't happen. It's just where your focus of attention is. So start to write down what was awesome last year. What are some of your achievements? Let's start to flood our brains. And I can give some of you those things. How many of you who are and are part of our membership, you know, you show up, you watch the daily broadcast, you journal, you exercise, you meditate. You might not do it as well or as much as you would like to, but what else did you achieve last year? For us, you know, we started to solidify our membership. We've created some amazing stories with people, unbelievable, you know, things I never even in my mind didn't think was possible. There are so many achievements. Moving here, that was more than a year ago. Moving here, really getting into yoga, really getting into meditation. I've really got into meditation. I don't very occasionally miss a day. I've formulated habits. I've become so much of a better coach. Look, I'm sorry to talk about me, but maybe this will make you think about what were the achievements that you had from last year. Was there something that you wanted to say there?
No, Claire's just asking for information on schools and
Oh yeah, okay. We're not at that post. You said write these things down. Promotion. What else? Learn to really appreciate and love myself. Yes. Seeing people achieve. That's brilliant, Brian. Thank you. Journaling every day. Write these things down. Making exercise a non-negotiable. It's time for all of us to wake up and smell the roses, or as I like to say, smell the coffee, and really look at what did you do last year. You're freaking awesome. It's so imperative. Flood your brain. What did you do? Meeting amazing people, getting out of your comfort zone, making videos maybe on Facebook and sharing your story. What did you do? Come on, keep churning this stuff out. Learning to love exercise. I deliberately have the broadcast on talking. I didn't say that. Sorry. Daily rituals. What else? Come on. The days have gone. I've got to move this seat away. I've got to stand up. The days have gone. I'll be far more powerful standing up. The days have gone with us always looking at things. We have to learn. We have to learn, and that's how we live. We live and learn. People say you live and learn. I say, no, you learn and you live. You live through learning. You live through making mistakes and coming back stronger. You know, we mustn't judge ourselves by what we haven't done. We should gather information about what we haven't done, why we didn't do it. But what's more important is what are you doing that's freaking awesome? I really want to swear, but I'm not going to swear because that's one of my things that when you watch me present, I used to swear a lot. I swear a lot less. It's something I set my mind to do. So look at this. It's so important. Daily rituals for over 3 months on the transforming my life. Thank you, Kate. Letting go of the past. Thank you, Fiona. What else? Embedded rituals. Gain more confidence. Look at this. Divorced and moved. The stories are incredible. Look what you did. Look what you did. Looked at myself and recognized I needed to work. Discovered Napoleon Hill. Wow. My first joint exhibition. Sorry, I didn't get to see all of that. This is powerful stuff. Look how many people are still with us. 103 of you are still here. Can you see how important this is? At least 3 and 5, running 5 times a week. Delighted in what I can do. Lindsay Seals, the progress in you is amazing. Louise Summerskills, got out of your comfort zone. You're creating your life. You're happier. This is real. This is real. Isn't this better than watching Casualty? What's on now? 7:20 on a Hannah's like, she's not sure. Running in the mornings. Well done, Wendy. It's been amazing working with you throughout the past. Look what we can do. How does that feel? Now take a moment to think about how that feels. Thank you, Sandra, joining My365. That must have been a good move. Look at that, 197 days of journaling. So this is the next part, okay? And you can go through this process a few times. What was awesome? What have you achieved? This is so amazing. Tending yoga, found my identity. Where was it, Mark? You found it, my friend. You found it. 15,000 steps every day in December. Started drumming and chanting. My first joint art exhibition. This is amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So are you ready? We're going on a little journey here. So what have we looked at so far? We've looked at the fact that if we want to change, we need a revolution. We definitely need to wake up and realize we've got to do things a little bit differently to what we've done before in the past. What else did we look at? We looked at what did you fail at? What did you say you were going to do? What did you start and not finish? And then we've asked, okay, what have you learned from this? What's the biggest learning from all of this? Then I've now asked you what was awesome about last year? You know, this was really big for me because I can be my worst critic at times. It was really good. I made pages of notes going through this. This is what I used to do when I coached people. I've never done this before like this, just so you know, with a whole group of people. How fired up does everyone feel right now about what they achieved last year and what they could learn right now to make 2018 an unbelievable year? Because this is where we're going to start. But let's now look at the next step of this, which is quite challenging, which is what were the most common thoughts you had last year? What do you think were the most common thoughts that you had, the most dominating thoughts that you had? Now, with this question, once again, it's really important, imperative actually, do not judge this, okay? Do not judge this. What were the most what were the most common thoughts that you had? Just write down, maybe share some of that. Because some people, when they're really honest, they become aware that a lot of their thoughts spiral them down. Like, I'm not good enough, it won't work, or you can do this, let's go for it. It's a really interesting thing to start looking at this, because what we do in coaching people is to make people realize, look, you are more than the sum of your thoughts. The thoughts are just habits. And that's one of the masterclasses that we teach. We teach masterclasses on breaking habits, conquering fears, leadership, confidence, but just to be really honest, right? Self-doubt. Thank you. I'm going to fail. I'm not good enough. So this is really vital information, because if we don't address this, what do you think is going to happen? We are selling ourselves short. Where these thoughts come from? Well, they just come from a mind that you and I have that finds it very easy to do what it's done before in the past. It also finds it very easy to be negative. Your mind doesn't want you to fail. And part of the reason it's telling you you can't do this, it won't work, is it knows that in the past that you failed. Now, here's a change in perspective, because part of this process that we're going through together, which I believe is the most important process I could take anyone through, is to give you a different perspective of this. So if you could, from this moment onwards, start a process of realizing when you're telling yourself that you can't do something or it won't work, that maybe that's a part of you that's telling you that. So another part of you can say, let me show you what I can do. Let me show you what I'm capable of. You'll see a link in this post. If you're not in our private Facebook group, you can join that group. It's absolutely free. And my gift to all of you is I'm going to start doing some more broadcasts from time to time on some of these subjects to really help you for free. You know, along with our podcasts, which are free, and our Monday broadcasts at 7 a.m., which are free, is to give you content that will help you revolutionize your life. Now, I definitely have some dominant thoughts that are negative, you know, around stress, around when I can get stressed sometimes, I can put myself into a loop of saying to myself, there's no way out of this, and this is so bad, and it's not going to work, and you spiral down. But I also have these dominant thoughts of, we are going to change the world. We are going to impact, positively inspire 100 million people around the world. So it's essential to look at your thoughts in terms of not right and wrong, but which are the thoughts that you want to start manifesting? Which are the thoughts that you want to start telling yourself? Yes? Tell me, can anyone tell me some of the thoughts? And thank you for all of you that are joining us here. It's unbelievable. It's amazing. Mark this day down as a significant day in your life, because we've got an opportunity to do something unbelievably awesome. So what are the thoughts that you think would be a great thought to start generating? Because now we need to move on. You okay? We need to move on to the next phase of this process, which is this. So Jenny Louise Tyler, I can do this. I understand. I want you to start thinking about what it is that you could say to yourself. I know you've probably heard this before. I can do this. You're a winner. Stick with this. You've got what it takes. Keep going, keep learning, keep moving. A mantra. So write this word down for me, please. This is the next part of this process, which is, write this word down, theme. Write this word down, theme. Theme, T-H-E-M-E, theme. What would you like the theme of this year to be? I have a theme. My theme of this year is a few things. It's warrior. What? Not warrior, warrior. Dig deep, rise up. This is my theme for come from the heart. I'm a warrior, going deep, working on things, going deep and rising up. This is my theme. So if I was going to get my theme to one word, the theme would be warrior. I want to be a warrior this week. and I want to get better in a few different areas of my life, which we'll look at in a moment. So come up with a theme. And if something comes to mind now, just write that word down: positivity, light, a theme that you could tell yourself, that theme. And when you tell yourself that theme, then maybe a mantra. Understand what a mantra is, by the way. Mantra comes from the ancient Sanskrit word meaning a tool for your mind. So a mantra is a tool for the mind. If you say to yourself, you got this, that's a tool. You can do this. I've got your back. Yes?
3 F's: focus, faith, and fearless.
So that's from Kate. That's your theme. Write it down. Unstoppable. Write it down. And when you say that to yourself, unstoppable, notice how you feel when you say those words to yourself. Really, really, really important to have a theme. Because think of it like this, right? This is where we are today, point A, okay? And we want to go to point B, point A to point B. And we all know that when we want to achieve something in life, it's very rarely a straight line. It's very rarely a straight line. Even when an aeroplane takes off and goes from London to New York, it doesn't fly in a straight line. Multiple times it will be off course because of the weather, because of other planes. It's moving off course, but it knows where it's going. It's like a compass. This is one of the things that we talk about a lot, that you decide, okay, this is what I want. This is what I'm going after. And you decide to go after that thing, whatever that thing is, and then all of a sudden stuff happens. And this is where you need your mantra. This is where you need to remind yourself of your theme. Where's my sword gone? It's over here. So I am on a revolution to help you and inspire you this year. Charge! I'm charging forwards. I'm a warrior. And anything gets in my way that I don't need, I'm going to either learn from it, I'm going to destroy it, and I'm going to move on, and I'm going to get stronger. I'm going to get stronger. But I'm not doing it on my own. I'm doing it with other people. It's not just about me. And this is one of the things that I encourage you to really think about right now. Make this more than just you. Take a moment when you think about what you want to achieve this year. Now, take a moment to think of what the people around you would benefit. What would the people around you benefit from you achieving this? We have countless stories of My365ers who have changed, and as a consequence, other people have changed in a positive way around them. So I want you to think about, if you were slimmer, fitter, healthier, if you wrote that book, if you became more of a positive person, if you got yourself out of debt, whatever it is that you want, think about your children or your parents or whoever, your friends, family, your husband, your wife. What would they benefit from? How would they benefit? What would they think about you? Really important to do this. Like I say, you might want to go through this video again and answer these questions, because we're talking about a few hours of your time to make the next 365 days the best 365 days that you've ever had. So let's move on. So when we think about where you are and where you want to be, this is where a lot of people fall down. They set goals because they set goals because it's a nice idea, and people write the goal down, but there is no emotion attached to the goal, right? There is no emotion attached to the goal. And for some people, the goal seems so big that they tell themselves, that's just too big. I just can't do that. So what I want to do is take you through a little process now to help you attach some emotion to that. But how many of you have ever seen the film or read the book, Charles Dickens' Scrooge? So there's Scrooge living his life, comfortably uncomfortable. He is comfortably uncomfortable, which is where most of you are. You're comfortably uncomfortable. You don't feel quite right the way that you are. And you might just have to get more uncomfortable till you finally go, you know what, I'm going to have to do something about this situation. But hopefully you won't. And hopefully this exercise right now will help you. That imagine this, that I could take you into the future 1 year from now. Let's get you in a TARDIS, step in and wait for it and transport you a year into the future. And you've done nothing. You've done absolutely nothing. You had a good idea, but you let history repeat itself, and you arrived 1 year from now, and you came out of the TARDIS and you looked at yourself. Now, some people don't want to think about this, but it's like, well, how would you feel looking at the person that you had become because you made that choice? What would you see if you were looking at that person? What would you maybe hear? Hear disappointment. How would you feel looking at that version of yourself? Now, the great thing is that none of that has actually happened, but you could make it happen. You could be like 98% of people that have decided to go on a New Year's resolution and meet them in a year's time, and they'll be going on another one. It's like just going in a cul-de-sac and just going round in circles, never really going anywhere, rather than getting in that time machine and making today a pivotal point in your life where you went, this is the theme. In 1 year's time, I'm going to be the warrior. I am going to achieve whatever it is that my mind is focused on. And I want to imagine getting into that TARDIS and coming out and seeing myself in 1 year's time. Now, if you could see yourself in 1 year's time, having achieved what it is that you want to achieve, what would you say to yourself? What would you say to that version of you? How proud would you be of what you had created? Spending a few moments to use your imagination, this is the best gift you've ever been given. All your ideas come from your imagination. It's just that for many of us, we've got cobwebs. We don't often step into our imagination and fire it up to the point of seeing where we want to go. Most of us fire up our imagination to think about where we don't want to go. What could be, what could happen, what might happen, rather than really just taking a little bit of time to think about what is possible. And the fact that you can see it, to me, in one dimension actually shows that what you're seeing in your mind's eye is already there. It's already real. This is one of the techniques that we teach. It's called priming. Priming your brain over and over and over and over again to see where it is that you want to go. With the multiple world champions I've worked in sport, this was something that we would do over and over and over and over and over again. In 1992, Sally Gunnell won gold in Barcelona. In 1993, you can Google this, and I would encourage you to do it. Google Sally Gunnell, 1993. She won the gold and broke the world record. And what was so incredible about this is that when she crossed the line, she didn't know that she'd won. She didn't know that she'd broken the world record. She didn't even know if it was just in her imagination or if it was real. What she had done for weeks and months leading up to that race is use her imagination to see herself running, to see herself winning. It's what's called visualization, and everyone can do it. But this is where some of you who have watched The Secret, I think the secret of The Secret is it doesn't really work because there's something that's missing in that process as well. Because as you think about where you would like to be and maybe start to get a little bit, yeah, I want that. I can see that. I can believe it. I believe it, so I can feel it and I can do something about it. Once you start to identify with the person that you want to become, you'll realize that when you come back to today, that you're on this path already, and it's already happened. But just imagine this. How many of you have got imaginations as you come back to today to know what's going to happen as you go on this journey? You will move off task. Something is going to happen. Something's going to happen. One of my role models, one of my people I look up to, even though he's not here anymore, Jim Rohn, was once asked to predict the future. And he said, opportunities mixed with difficulties. He worked in a company and he was doing some leadership work with the people in the business. And they said, Mr. Rohn, can you predict the future? He said, yeah, opportunities mixed with difficulties. And this is a huge part of this process that we're going through. It's called WHOOP. This was designed by a lady called Gabrielle Oettingen, who's probably come up with the most powerful tool in positive psychology around goal setting, around visualizing. WHOOP, W-O-O-P. W stands for what is the wish? Now, what do I wish? What do I wish for? The outcome is where the emotion, you start to think, I want that outcome. I want that outcome because I feel that it's going to be amazing to do it. Even the journey might be awesome, but the result might be even better. And that's where a lot of people, their vision boards, they've got a vision board, they wish, they think about the outcome, and then all of a sudden, something happens they didn't expect to happen, like they get the flu, or just something happens. They didn't expect it to happen. They get a bill and they think, how the hell am I going to pay this? Someone leaves them, something happens. It's called obstacles, and they give up. And what this process of Gabriel Oettingen designed is the O, the second O, is what are the obstacles? Now, I want you to write this down. Everyone, take some time right now to think about what are the obstacles that are going to get in your way. Think about it. This year, what's coming? What are the obstacles? What's going to happen? Things that you could predict. This is why The Secret doesn't work, because The Secret very rarely, or it doesn't really, from I've watched it and looked at the book and looked at the process, it never tells you what to do when you do hit an obstacle, because obstacles are coming. And the obstacles are where you are going to go to work on yourself. The obstacles are where you're going to show up, because you know, and I know this having been doing this work for a long time, that when the obstacles come this year, show up. Don't go and hide in a corner and not let anyone know that you're there. The obstacles are when you need to show up. Billy Ocean was a very wise man. When the going gets tough. Sorry? When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, Siri, can you play Billy Ocean, When the Going Gets Tough?
Okay, playing When the Going Gets Tough. The Tough Gets Going by Billy Ocean.
When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Tough, tough. When the going gets tough, the tough get going.
It's a musical break. I've got to be careful because I've been banned by the Facebook police, but I think Facebook have now relaxed their laws that you can actually play music. Play that song. Look, I dare you, because I know that I'm not psychic, but even though they used to call me Psycho Pete, they used to call me, when I was a PE teacher, Pete Eater. Understand this. What's the lessons that you can learn from last week? When you don't feel like something, I saw one of our members today was saying she hasn't been suffering from any depression since she's been a part of My 365. Today was a really difficult day, feeling really low. Okay, so show up, because this is where you're going to grow. This is, write this down, OTMs, OMS, opportunities make, obstacles make me stronger, OMS, obstacles make me stronger. It's one of the most significant things that could happen to you next year. When something happens, you say to yourself, I'm going to learn from this and I am going to move on. I am going to get stronger. What are the other obstacles? Let's share some of this information right now. How many of you, what are some of the obstacles that you know have hit you in the past? When the obstacles come, you've just given up? Can anyone tell me? It's great that so many of you are still here. It's brilliant. We appreciate it. This is going to be a game-changing hour for all of you, even though we're not even halfway through, but I will speed up a little bit. So remember this, write it down. I dare you. Pete Cohen is daring you. When the going gets tough, show up. Show up, show up, show up, show up, show up, show up, show up. Don't just turn up, show up and say, this is me. Family issues, illness, lack of willpower. Willpower. That's one of the other things that we teach, by the way, in our master classes. Self-doubt. So finances. What is Jane Ridley's getting ahead of herself? Jane, it's brilliant to see you, Jane. Miss you. Joanne, me, myself, and I. Oh, it's just me, myself, and I. So what we need to understand with this is the P is what is the plan to overcome the obstacles. When those obstacles come, distractions is a massive thing. When you get no results, you've got to say, what's my P? Now, for me, This is what I do when an obstacle comes. What I do is I just often just go and get engaged in something positive. I'll get out my journal, my My365 journal, or get out my workbook that I have. I just start making notes. I just literally start reading something. I feed my brain something. I have a plan. You know what? The only reason we watch the A-Team, those of you that did watch it, is because we love it when a plan comes together. But before the plan came together, there were obstacles that they needed a plan to overcome the obstacles. And every obstacle that they'd gone through made the next plan maybe a bit easier because they'd already gone through some challenging times. So they knew what to do. Obstacles make me stronger. So take some time. You can't prepare for every eventuality because you don't know necessarily what's going to happen, unless you're psychic and you can predict and see the future. But you know, even if you could, you still don't know. So what my challenge to you is, you can all do this. If something happens and you don't have a plan, guess what you can do? And if you're a woman, you probably won't have a problem doing this. It's called asking for help. If you're a man, you probably will be challenged by that, because men don't even like asking for directions. You know, a man will be walking to a wall with his iPhone with, you know, Google Maps telling him that it's over there. You think he can go for a wall just rather than saying, excuse me, do you know where that place is? Asking for help. And guess what? How many of you like helping people, yet you don't like asking for help? Powerful stuff, right? So what we need to do now, let's actually get into writing some goals down. So just recapping a little bit, understand, use your brain to think about up your desperation. The desperation when you think about doing nothing in 1 year's time. Up your inspiration by thinking about the person that you could become, that better coach, that better mother, that better father, that better person at doing yoga. Think about that. See it in your mind's eye, and use desperation and inspiration. When you mix those things together, boom. If you're just using desperation, good luck, because as soon as you get comfortable, chances are you'll go back to what you were doing before. So let's now move this on to the next level, which is when we look at the different areas in our life that we can set goals. There are many different areas. Tony Robbins, I think he calls them, I wrote this down somewhere. It doesn't matter what Tony Robbins calls them. It's what I'm going to call them, right? The 3 different areas that I believe you should all be setting goals in. And they're this. Are you ready? Energy, family, and service. Service and work. I believe those are the 3 most important areas that right now you should write those things down and ask yourself, what do you want to achieve in those areas? So energy is the first one, right? Family should be the second, and service and work should be the third. I've often made big mistakes because I've often made my work my number 1 priority before even my health and even before my family. So this is one thing that I've made some decisions right now to change some of those things around, you know, and all I can do is just do my best. What about you? So let's have some fun with this. Is everyone having fun? I can see a few people have dropped off, but you know, the best is still here, right? Those of you that are really serious about this process, this 1 hour could completely change your life. Even if I never ever saw you again after this, you could apply this information and you can watch it again, which I believe most of you should do, and everything is going to change. So think about this. Energy. And for me, energy is the foundation of everything. If you don't have energy, then you're only going to be able to do so much. Energy is about your health and your well-being, all right? A few light bulb moments have gone. Thank you. It's always nice to know. So the first thing we need to think about is who, okay? So let's talk about energy. We've got a who, we've got a what, and we've got a why, okay? Who, what, why, or who, what, why, and even how. So this is the thing. Who, with your energy, are you committed to becoming? Okay? With your energy, who are you committed to becoming? For me, I want to be a warrior. This time next year, I want to be the fittest I've ever been in my life. When I say fittest, I don't just mean physically fit. I mean mentally fit, sharp. For me, energy is around not just exercising and doing yoga. It's also about meditation. It's about eating well, eating lots of green vegetables, eating organic food, drinking lots of water, using the Magnificent Seven. Those of you that are My 365ers, maybe you know all about the Magnificent Seven. Hugely powerful tool. It's a part of our My 365 journal. You know, a great way of just monitoring your health, but the whole foundation of your life. So that's what I want you to think about. In 1 year's time, who would you like to be with your health? Write it down. Even share that with all of us right here, right now, in 1 year's time. And then the next part is what? What are some of the specific goals that you have around achieving that in 1 year's time? Is there something that you want to be able to do? Is it you want to be able to, I don't know, run, to have run a certain amount of races? Is there certain things that you want to be able to do? What specifically do you want to be doing or have done in order to become the person that you want to be with your energy? And then a really important thing is to think about why. You know, I often talk about willpower is really why power. When you find someone who has the will to do something, they do it because they've got a bigger why. And often someone's why who's achieved what you wanted to achieve is their why was bigger than yours. Why is this important to you? Just write down whatever comes to your head. You know, why? Why would you want to be fitter than you've ever been in your entire life next year? I want to do that because I've got a lot of love I want to give, a lot of life I want to live, things I want to do, and I know I need to be in shape mentally and physically. And I want to be an example to all of you. I want to be someone in my 60s, in my 70s, in my 80s that I'm practicing what I preach with energy. Does this make sense to everyone? You know, why do you want this? Again, you to do this real justice, you might want to go through this a few times, like I said. And then lastly, with energy, how are you going to do this? For this, it's all about, in fact, to really find this out, look, join me on Friday at 7 a.m. Join me every day next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Let me show you more of the how. But the how is often simple things that you do every single day. But if you want more help on this, we can look at this on Friday and all of next week, because all of those broadcasts are going to be absolutely free. Who's going to commit to joining me on those broadcasts next week? So let's look at the next thing, family. Who are you committed to become? Now, obviously, I'm quite challenged by this because my wife is actually sitting on the floor here. And, you know, we don't have kids. We have a cat. We've got my father-in-law that lives here. You know, I'm the godfather to a number of children. I am the uncle to 3 nieces. So who am I committed to becoming? I'm committed to becoming a better husband, you know, a better friend. What? 4 nieces. Have I? Oh, yes. So, you know, when I think about the, you know, family, who am I committed to becoming? Who? I want to become the best husband, the best uncle, the best friend. For me, family is about friends as well. I don't really see my friends very often, to be honest. I saw 2 of my friends the other day that I've not seen since I got married 3.5 years ago, my best friends, because I've decided to marry my work, you know. But I want to become better. I want to become better. So what specifically? Spending time with my wife, you know, having date nights, just spending time actually doing cooking together, just spending time together, going on holiday, just doing things that are really important to do because we're good friends, but we work together as well. So these things are important. So, and then it's why? Well, that's a good question. For me, it's I feel that it's what I have to do, that it's important. Why have children? Why be a mother or father or son, or if you're not going to give it your best? And surely that's a big thing for our whole lives, right? That should we not be able to look back and think, you know what? For me, it's about playing well. I want to go to the end of my life and look back and goes, I played well. You know, I don't want to look back and go, oh, no, didn't really do very well at that. I want to be the example. And I know it's not always easy, but it all starts off with a decision. It all starts off with a revolution. It all decides with you identifying that your future's unwritten, and it's unwritten, and now we're writing it. Many of you now, we're writing our future. And, you know, you guys have got the power to do something about this. So let's look at service. You know, service to me is about work. And I'm in the service business. We are in a business, you know, we're in a business where we want profit. We want to build a conscious capital business where we create money, but with the money that we make in our business, we support people who work with us, and we want to put our money to good causes, to grow our business, to inspire 100 million people around the world. That's our goal. We want to inspire 100 million people around the world. And guess what? We're going to do it because you're inspired right now. How many of you right now, you feel inspired and you could go into a room and don't say anything and other people will be inspired by you? Because inspiration is when you breathe life into something. And that's what we're doing with this. We're breathing life into our goals. We're breathing life into what we want. So who are you committed to becoming with your service? For me, next year, I want to be the best coach in the world. I want to be the most inspiring coach in the world. I want to be the king of coaching in my own world. It doesn't mean being better than anyone else, just being the very, very best that I can be. I want to be better in every sense of the word. This is me. What about you? With your work, who are you committed to becoming? And what specifically do you want to have happen? What do we want? We want to have 5,000 members of My 365 Elite by this time next year. We want 5,000 people that we coach every single day. We want to build the most positive community of like-minded people around the world. That's our goal. Why are we doing this? Why? Because we love what we do. We want to be an example to other businesses that look what you can do. You can take an idea, which is what Mr. Ben Davis gave me a couple of years ago. He just gave me an idea of something. I took the idea, and now we've grown something that you are now all a part of. Even if this is the only thing that you ever saw, it all started off with an idea. How many ideas could you go through your energy, through your family and your service, and what could you be committed to doing? So with all of this, as we start to come to an end of this process, who are you committed to becoming? Who are you committed to becoming? Really, really important question. So we'll take some questions in a moment, but what I want you to start just to become even more aware about is what happens with your head. When your head tells you, or when you say, I'm going to do something. So everyone right now, tell me one of the things that you want to achieve over the next year. Whatever it is, just write it down and share it with us so everyone else can see. What's one of the things that you want to achieve next year? Now, when you write this down, whether you say it out loud or you write it here on a piece of paper or you type it, what is the first words that come into your head? Because for many people, those first words are, that ain't going to happen. I want to inspire children to love English, and I can't see the rest of that, I'm afraid. Let me see if I can start to bring some of these comments.
And the potential power of the written and spoken word.
Okay, so all of you are putting this: expand my business and income, lose weight, happiness. I'm going to do a whole broadcast on happiness in a few weeks' time. Just make sure you get into our free Facebook group. If you're not in that free Facebook group, just click on the link. It's absolutely free. Relocate to Italy. So just that's brilliant, Maureen. So for a lot of people, when they say they're going to do something, the voice of whatever you want to call it, I wouldn't call it the voice of reason, but another voice comes into the head, right? Can you all relate to this? I want to finally ditch the diet and lose my excess weight. Finish things that I start. Let me see if I can take these comments off now. Hang on. Train our puppy. You could train our cat if you want. So this is, of all the things that I've learned, you know, my coach who coached me for 16 years, who helped me with so many big things, helped me make a ton of money many years ago with a big business decision. He helped save, I believe, Hannah's life. There's a picture of him on my phone here. And he told me many things, but one thing he told me is you've got to take care of Pete for Pete's sake. And that's why I believe energy should be our most important focus, our most important thing. But he also told me this, that our minds play tricks on us. How many times in your life has your mind played a trick on you? More than once. And what's really interesting is that when you say you're going to do something, other people might tell you, no, that ain't going to happen. But often we'll tell ourselves. And whether you're telling yourself this now, or whether tomorrow, or the next day, or the day after that, you'll tell yourself that you can't do it. I want you to do two things. I want you to see that voice as a trick that your mind is playing on you. A trick that you could tell that part of you, let me show you what I can do. Or you can ignore it. But the most powerful thing, and for me, the theme, let me show you this because I've drawn it here. So whether you guys can see this, look. This here, this to me is the theme of this year. So this red dot relates to the dot that's above here. This is where our power is. This is where I'm connecting to. And inside that dot is a heart. So I want to be a warrior this year. I want to rise up. I want to go deep into what I'm doing. But it's all about coming from the heart. So if you think of any one of those goals that you want to achieve, and you could drop using your imagination from your mind and come from your heart. In fact, if you put one hand, as long as you're not driving or operating machinery or holding a child, put one hand on top of the other hand like this. And imagine that your heart right now, as you tell yourself, this is what I want, coming from the heart. What 99.9% of people become aware of is there ain't no interference. I'm going to write that book. You can go back up into your head if you want. So let me ask you, what came first? The head or the heart? What was the first sign of life? It was your heart. The heart is extremely powerful. And it's the 12th cranial nerve called the vagus nerve, which goes from your brain to your heart. The heart has a brain-like nature. The heart sends messages to the brain, but we just don't always listen. People say, follow your heart, don't follow your head. Trust your heart, trust yourself. And that's where confidence comes from. Many of you need to grow your confidence. The best way you're going to grow your confidence is start to do what you say you're going to do and collect evidence. If any of you want to get your hands on our My365 journal, this is an unbelievable tool. And believe you me, this was something that was extremely alien to me because journaling was not something that became naturally easy to me. Don't like detail. Go and find out about the My365 journal. This is an amazing tool. If your life is worth living, it has to be worth recording. You can see about our journal. Go to mi365.me/journal. That's mi365.me/journal. Journaling, like I said, it's a very, very powerful tool. So a quick summary. We are done. Who's fired up here right now? What's your number one takeaway? Your number one takeaway from what I've just shared with you. If you're an elite member or anyone, I'd love to know. Make a video, make a post. What have you taken away from tonight? It's an evaluation. Evaluating is where most people in personal development just make a massive mistake, because if you don't evaluate what you're doing, you never really learn. It's when you stop and pause and reflect and ponder what's working, what you're doing, and look to get stronger and move on. You know, no one climbs a mountain in one go. If they stop, and they have to reassess before moving on. So a recap, what did we look at? We looked at you needing to make a revolution, that there has to be a change. I asked you to think about what last year did you fail at? What did you say you were going to do and not do? I asked you what promises did you not keep? I asked you to talk about things you started and didn't finish. What did you do that just didn't work? Then I said, look, come on, what can you learn from all of this? What can you learn from this to the point where you've taken the learning and then you could take that thing that happened or didn't happen and just throw it away and take the learning into 2018? I then said, come on, what was awesome about last year? What was freaking awesome? What were your amazing achievements? You know, what is it that you're most proud of? I then asked you to think about what were the most common thoughts that you had last year. What were the dominant thoughts? You know, some of them probably were positive, some of them were negative, but I was asking you to think about which one served you rather than what's right and what's wrong. Which of those thoughts really served you? Then I asked you to think about asked you to think of a theme. What's your theme for next year? For me, the theme is warrior, rising up, coming from the heart and going deep into work and just sticking to my fundamentals and my rituals. I then asked you to start thinking about priming, going into the TARDIS and seeing you in the future and having not achieved what you wanted to achieve, and then realizing, oh my God, I really don't want that. And then using your imagination to think about where do you want to go, going into that time machine and seeing you in a year's time and realizing that that's where you were going to be. Whoop. What do you wish for? That's the wish. Why do you want that? Attach some emotion to it. What would that feel like to have done that? And to bring that feeling back to today and then start to think about, okay, the obstacles. What are those obstacles? And maybe start thinking about a plan for that. But join me on Friday at 7 a.m. and then join me all day next week, and we can kind of start bringing more and more of this to life. And then ask you to think about goals from three main areas: energy, family, and service. And to think about who are you committed to becoming? What is it that you want to achieve? Why do you want this? And then maybe how. We didn't look too much at the how, but the how is often very simple things that you do every single day. The first few hours that you wake up in the morning are probably the most important time, if you can, to go to work on creating the habits that you want to instill. I then asked you finally, who are you actually committed to becoming? Really, who are you actually committed to becoming? And I've asked you to think about coming from the heart. Thank you so much for all of you that have stayed with us through this whole process. It's been an hour and 7 minutes. I really appreciate it. Let's take some questions before we wrap this up. Like I said, if you want to get hold of the journal, go to mi365.me/journal. If you're not in our free Facebook group, click on the link, come and get into that group, and we can keep you up to date with, what's going on and when. And, because this time is over. Look, Christmas, it's over, right? Look, it's now time for something else. Thank you very much. This all makes perfect sense. Write this down. If you're a coach, this is a process you could take anyone through. You might want to refine it, make it better, make it work for other people. Any questions? Or what's your biggest takeaway? Thank you very much, Alicia. Thank you very much, Barbara. So great to have so many of you here this evening. Any questions? Let's take the Christmas thing off there, because Christmas. Are you supposed to take? When are you supposed to take your decorations down? Thank you very much, Desi. Thank you very much for posting today. There's Carmen. Carmen, who is our member of the year for last year. Great broadcast. Thank you very much. Take some time to think about this. This is not the sort of thing I would encourage you to go through once. I've done this 3 times over the last 3 or 4 days. Also, you might want to check out the Mi365 podcast, mi365.me/podcasts, or if you're on iTunes, Mi365, amazing podcast. Any questions? Biggest takeaway? It's been great. You're great. Hannah, can you just look out for questions, because I don't get to see all of what people are writing, because So thank you, people who have shared it. World class. Thank you, Mark. Always operate from your heart. Come from your heart. Your heart. Drop into your heart. You should do this every day. Just take a moment. Feel the fact that you're alive. I have trouble spotting the questions I ask myself.
Insomnia.
Insomnia. Well, there can be many reasons as to why I would not label it insomnia, because for me that's giving it a label. This is just my advice. I would always prepare yourself for sleep. Sleep is like a miniature death. You know, you're dying and then you're waking up. So it's what you do for the last couple of hours before you go to sleep. And a lot of people call this a digital sunset. When the sun goes down, turn off your digitals, turn off your Wi-Fi, turn off your phone. Don't have too much. I mean, the light that's in my face now, I probably won't sleep for a week because this is stimulating me. Make your room a place that is calm. Even maybe have some essential oils, even a little bit of lavender, not too much because that can stimulate, but just a little bit. And read something that maybe is light and just sends you off to sleep. I need to attend a speaking academy. When's the next one? We will let you know. We will be doing a speaking academy this year, training people to become great speakers. Yes?
I have trouble spotting the questions I ask myself. Generally, I make statements, e.g., will I have that chocolate? So what do you suggest if I don't see it?
Well, start asking yourself questions. Start writing down some questions that would really empower you, that you give yourself a choice. I think I need a bit more detail on that, to be honest. How do I stop myself spiraling down? And yes?
I'm doing in the middle.
Yeah.
What is one most important thing we should do right now?
The most important thing you should do right now is take a moment to reflect on what was your biggest learning, your biggest achievement from what we just did now. And I would write that down and maybe go and tell 5 people or make a video about it or something, get it out there. Will there be, sorry.
When is the weight loss challenge broadcast? The 8th?
Yeah, well, so we'll be doing a weight loss challenge broadcast on the 8th. But in a couple of weeks, we're going to be doing 5 weight loss broadcasts for everyone. They're absolutely free. We have an unbelievable weight loss program. You can go and check it out at my365.me/challenge. my365.me/challenge. I've been privileged to help so many people lose. How many people that are watching this have lost weight? And yes? Okay, yeah.
Can you work on several things at the same time, or is it best to focus on one? So
that's a really good question. Can you focus on numerous things? No, you can only do one thing at a time. So work out what's wildly important. Here's a great question. Think to yourself of all the things that you could do this year. If you did this one thing, what other things would fall into place? You can work on multiple things, but only work on one of them at a time. Yes?
How often should we reevaluate our goals?
Thank you very much. Another great question. Every single day. Every day. And that's why you guys should join me all of next week, because I'm going to show you. See, it's quite mundane. Successful people have just got really good at mastering the mundane of the same thing. One of my role models, one of my people I look up to, Mr. Holton Buggs, was talking about yesterday in a broadcast about the pendulum, the momentum swinging. But the more you kind of go to work on yourself, the more momentum you start moving forward. So eventually you'll think, how did I get here? You got here by being consistent with certain fundamentals, and you got there because you reviewed what you were doing every day. This is something I'm going to be sharing next week. Look, this is what I do every day. Look, every day. That's one of the things I drawing of where I am, where I want to be, what's going on, and that's my process. You have to a certain extent, work out what's best for you. Yep. What's next?
How do I stop myself spiraling down in January? And will there be another retreat? Not this year.
We're not sure about retreats, but there will be we've got a summit in September. I saw the person that actually wrote that question about spiraling down in January. Well, the key for that person has to be sleep. you know, and I know sometimes it's easier said than done, but just try not sleeping. Making sleep your number one non-negotiable and finding ways to have more sleep, whatever it is. Deciding to focus on a few things and notice the signals, notice the symptoms, because sometimes we don't notice the signals until they're too late. You know? That's it. Thank you so much for everyone that's joined us here today. And thank you very much, Hannah. Thank you very much to all of our team. You know, we have a team of people that are working on this, and I'm going to be here all year. It's been my privilege to be your coach for the last hour and 20 minutes, however long it is. And for some of you, you'll be able to find out how I can be your coach every single day. We'll have more to share about that over the next week or so. Yes?
Do we have a date for the summer? Yes,
Yeah.
Tina. And Parol bought...
Your husband has already bought some tickets.
4 tickets.
He's bought 4 tickets.
Sorry, Parish, not Parol.
Parish. And when is it? The 23rd? Is it the 22nd? 22nd of September. Please put that date in your diary. I hope you've enjoyed tonight. Thank you for those of you that stayed with us. No score, Arsenal versus Chelsea. Off I go. Watch 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done for watching this rather than watching that. Don't watch that. Watch this. This is the heavy, heavy monster sound, the nuttiest sound around. This is for you, Claire Goddard. Because if you're coming off the street and you're beginning to feel the heat, well, listen, Buster, you better start to move your feet to the rockinest, rock-steady beat of madness. One step beyond. Hey, Siri, play us out. Hey, Siri. Hey, Siri. Play One Step Beyond by Madness. Thank you so much, everyone that's joined us.
By Madness.
We really appreciate it. Ready? If this will work. No, my subscription to iTunes has run out, but I've always got Spotify. We have a track. A My365 Spotify 2-1. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this extremely important, special, inspirational, game-changing My365 goal-setting masterclass. Welcome one, welcome all. Tell us where you are. To give me one word to describe how you feel right now, and also tell us where you are in the world right now. Thank you for joining me. Please make sure you have a pen and paper to hand, because this is going to be an extremely thought-provoking, an extremely powerful. This could be anything up to an hour. So you guys better make sure that you're ready, because we're going on a journey to really help you manifest anything in your life that you want to create in 2018. But we're going to go through a specific process. My goal in working with you is to really help you set some goals that you're fired up about, that you believe that you can achieve, and then set you on your way to help guide, support, and coach you to start getting some momentum. So whether you're a My365 Elite member, whether